Receives Brosis Nation, friends, family, and all those who are a part of the Receives family. Welcome to another Empowerment Night. I am your host, Dawn Dawes, and with me tonight, I have somebody that many persons might have heard of, and some members would have actually known, none other than Garnet Codfish Denton. He's a past student of William Nibb Memorial High School right over there in Trelawney. Whilst there, he was the school's DeCosta Cup captain. He was also a National Premier League football player and a former member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Mr. Denton, welcome.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
I want you to feel as if you are, even though you went to Receive, even though you went to William Nibb, even though you went to William Nibb, I want you to feel as if you're a part of Receive, because the mere fact that you are here on our Empowerment Night tells me that you are good friends with a lot of Russians.
Correct.
Okay. So, Mr. Denton, and don't be surprised if I say Mr. Garnet sometimes. Okay. As a child, I don't know if they would have said to you that you have two first names. Did anybody actually?
Yeah, Garnet Denton.
Yes, yes. Okay, so I have learned a lot about you in our pre-interview conversations. And what I want to start off with is something that you said to me when we were partying. You said there was a feel-good feeling in helping others. And I can tell you that statement resounded with me. Talk a little about that feel-good feeling in helping others. Why do you have that philosophy?
All right, you have it's a pleasure being here, and thanks for having me in your program. And to all the viewers, welcome. The feel-good feeling is just a feeling that you feel when you do something to someone or for someone, and you hear thank you. And the good thing about it is that you are not doing it for any accolades. You're just doing it because it is the right thing to do. So case in point, this recent one, I work for G4's Security Solutions / Allied Universal, and we are security for the tri-rail that runs from West Palm to Miami. And there was this incident where 4 years ago, I was at Lakeport tri-rail station, and whilst at the station, I saw a lady that was waiting for a vehicle, waiting for a ride, and I approached the lady and I said, "Hey, are you okay?" And she said, "Yes, she's okay," and she explained that she's waiting on a Uber. So for me, the gentleman that I am, I stood there and I waited with her until her ride came. We exchanged our name. I know her name, she know my name, and she left. That's it. I did what I'm supposed to do, and I felt good with that. Now, yes. Fast forward 4 years after, I was on the train doing some security check, and I was going by, and I stopped, and I was like, conversing, and she saw my name tag, Denton, and she asked, "Are you by chance? Are you the same person that at Lake?" And I said, I didn't remember or nothing. I just did what I'm supposed to do when I left. And lo and behold, she said, "Yes, you assisted me." And right now, William the League of Alumni, we're doing this barbecue in New York. And she said, "Hey, listen, whatever I can do to assist, I'm going to assist." And
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you, Miss Nurse Hilton.
Nurse, her name is Nurse Hilton.
Oh, she's Dion Hilton, but she's a nurse. So
okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that's awesome. And ever so often, as individuals, when we extend a hand to help persons, too often we expect something in return.
Correct.
And we miss the blessing, because I'm sure our foreparents would have taught us it is in giving that you are blessed. Okay, so that's quite an interesting story. I like that. And I think that is such an appropriate way to start the program, because persons who maybe just pop in would have heard that. Okay, so initially, when you said you went to William Nibb, I was of the impression that you were from Trelawney, but I learned that you're from St. James. Tell us about where you're from, a little bit about growing up in your community.
Well, I don't want to just go to St. James. I am from a district in St. James, Adelphi, Malaland, and that's where I was born. I started there. From my childhood there, I went to this preschool, Miss May School, that's in Dumfries. And from Dumfries, I went to Hamden Primary. So I grew up with an extended family, my brother, sister, uncle, grandma, you know.
But Hamden is in Trelawney or St. James?
Well, it's a border. Hamden is right at the border of St. James.
Because I thought so, but you were born in Adelphi. So, yes. And Adelphi is in St. James.
Correct.
So yes. And then after there, you went to Miss May, but then you said something about Farm Heights.
Right, Farm Heights is a lot apart, because I went to Hamden Primary, and after Hamden Primary, I went to Coronally Avenue Primary. That's in Montego Bay. Mm-hmm. And I was living in Adelphi while I was going to Coronally. And then my mom, she got a house in Farm Heights through the NHD, and we moved from there.
Oh, so having gotten the house in Farm Heights, so it made it easier for you now to attend Coronally.
Right.
And back then, what was it like growing up in Farm Heights?
It was.
What type of community was it? What did you do as a pastime?
Football.
Okay.
Yes, football was one of the main pastime. Marble, gig. You know, it's not like where these guys have the PSP and their
Xbox and all of that.
And thing. You know, we used to go out and we used to play. And I mean, I'm not ashamed to say I used to play Dandy Shandy.
Yeah. That's my game.
Yeah. You know, and it was nice doing that. It was nice doing my time in Farm Heights. Real nice. So that's where it all started.
Okay, so you know, I love the fact that you said you're not ashamed to say that you enjoyed playing Dandy Shandy, because a lot of boys that I grew up with thought that Dandy Shandy was just for girls, and I can bet you played it well.
Yeah, because I was active, very active.
Yes.
You have to learn to jump, you have to learn to duck, you have to learn to skip, you know, so I was active.
But I bet you all the moves you learned in Dandy Shandy help you in football.
A whole lot. Because I mean, as a defender slash midfield player, you know, you have to learn to jockey, you have to learn to slide tackle, and you have to learn to jump. And the thing is this, one of my strong points is heading the ball, because most of my goals come from the head, from my head.
Okay, see guys, so those persons out there, don't put the games aside and say that's for girls and all of that. You can learn so much. And I love the fact that you mentioned things like playing gig and marbles.
Yep.
Oh my God, I remember those days.
Yep. Those are
I mean, the days when we moved away from children playing outside and burning all those calories and using up the energy. When we stopped doing that, I think that was when we opened the door for a lot of the childhood diseases that we now have.
True.
Nothing wrong with exerting yourself as a child.
Right.
Okay, so you've always loved playing football, and somehow you moved from Corinaldi and you ended up where?
All right, I just want to expound more on Dean and Farmites. And I want to take the time out to say, in Farmites, you have two guys that were on top of their game. One of which is Donovan Lagapipe Cook and Vinton Grasslice Williams. Vinton came to Rossies, as a matter of fact. I mean, rest in peace, Vinton.
He died.
Yes, passed. And during that
what
time,
was his name?
Vinton Williams.
Vinton. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So these guys were on top of their game, playing Premier League. Vinton, the Costa Cup winner. And you know, scattering roses. I really talk about that a whole lot. And we didn't get to honor Vinton when he was alive, you know, and no years passed. But I mean, growing up watching Vinton, he was like a creme de la creme. He was on top of his game. I think at Cornwall College, he played under 14, under 16, and he was also on the Dakota Cup team, and he's also a national representative. So that's where, you know, you see these guys, you want to be like these guys in the community, from the community. You know, some other guys that are from Farmites, you know, play D1, you want it to be, you know, where they are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So football then was more of a community thing, and you had mentors who would have somewhat guided you into wanting to play football?
Yes. You have the guys that are playing Division 1. At the time I was like playing under 14, under 16. And you see these bigger guys playing the D1, you know, you want to be like them, you know, and you know, follow in their footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But I want to fast forward. One of my idol right now is my older brother, Garnet Denton. He's a Cornwall College alumni. You know, I try to walk in his footsteps, you know, every day. He played the Costa Cup. I want to play the Costa Cup. He was a captain for Cornwall College. I became a captain for William Nibb. So, you know, it's a feel good feeling. You know, so Denny, we're ready. If you're watching this, big up yourself. I mean, enough love, brother.
I remember you spoke about him, and somehow we just had to get that out there.
Yeah,
because especially in these times, it's really admirable when you have an older sibling who you aspire to walk in that sibling's footsteps with everything that is happening around. Okay, so how did you move from Corinaldi to William Nibb?
All right, there are two schools in between there.
Mm-hmm.
I left Corinaldi and I went to Mount Salem All Age, because honestly, football, you know, common entrance, common entrance, me feel common entrance. So football I was placing a lot of emphasis on football, serious, and not the schoolwork. And I left there and I went to Mount Salem All Age, you know, spent 2 years there, and I went to Anchovy Secondary at the time. And whilst at Anchovy, I heard that there have been trials by William Nibb. So I went there, and that's where it all started.
Oh, you know, when we spoke, I thought you had gone to William Nibb via the route of the grade 9 achievement.
Oh.
Okay, so you went, football presented the opportunity for you to attend William Nibb.
Correct.
So what was it like? How did they make you, how did the student body, the school itself welcome you? Because having passed my common entrance from Falmouth All Age for William Nibb in 1983, I somewhat know the mindset, because being an academic school and all of that, you know, how did they welcome you? How were you made to feel?
All right, I went there in grade 9, and we were in Zone A at the time. And, you know, Zone A comprised of Herbert Morrison, Cornwall College, Rossies, Mannings, and William Nibb. So, I mean, anything, if you can enhance the team in a positive way, I mean, they're going to let me feel welcome. So I went there and I contributed. And then again, the principal wanted somebody that could play U16 as well as the Costa Cup. And I just need to say, you have about 20 or 30 guys from Montego Bay that came up for that trials, but they wanted guys that could have played under 16 and D Cup. And I was fortunate enough to have been selected. I just need to say something, and I need to understand why. There's this player from Rosis, Garnet there. He was there as well, and Garnet there was a few months younger than I am because I celebrated my 50th, and he celebrated his shortly after. And for some reason, Garnet there was not selected, and he's a wonderful player. Wonderful, wonderful player. But the thing is this, it's a blessing in disguise because he went to Rosis and won the Costa Cup. Among another guy, there's this guy, other guy, Brian Clough. He went to Urban Morrison, the goalkeeper. He was selected and he went to Urban Morrison and he won the Costa Cup.
So you mean the names you're calling, all of you went to William Nibb for the trials?
Correct.
So, and you ended up subsequently playing against each other in D Cup matches.
Yes, and there was this William Nibb against Rosis at Sabina Park, and we got 5-0. And Garnet Denton to this date, I'm not stop mouth me about the 5-0 when we get to Sabina Park. But Garnet, big up yourself, Rosis, it was their year, so.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, and when that game was played at Sabina Park, where Rosis gave William Nibb the 5-0, I am sure at some point you were saying, why didn't I try out for Rosis?
Yes, I could have said that, but the thing is this, Don, I must say, you see, at that time, the competition was very stiff. And I say to these youngsters nowadays, if the opportunity that presents itself now was back then, you have a lot of players that have gone overseas to prepare their trip. Because the competition was so stiff in all areas, defense, midfield, and forward. Goalkeeping is the same thing. So, I mean, I went to William Nibb and I was a standout there because in 1988 I was selected. I was selected to play on the Costa. But that was another story. I need to explain why I was.
Yeah, we're getting to it.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I love the fact that, the same guys that you would have grown up with, even though you would have competed against each other in football, and you would have, in my own words, gotten a whopping from some of these guys, you have remained friends.
Yeah.
That is admirable.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were welcomed at William Nibb because of the value that you added to their sports program. Tell me about academics. How did you fare academically?
I was an average student, but some students cannot balance the academics and the sporting activity. So the sports took precedence right there, and I mean that wasn't my thing, but it just happened. And if I could have gone back, I'd have placed more emphasis on the academics. And funny enough, this guy that was a William Nibb alumni, Michael Green, his name is Michael Rowe, the first William Nibb Olympian. Michael came to me, when he was about to leave and said, Codfish, say, oh, by the way, my alias is Codfish. That's another story.
Yes, we're getting to that Codfish part.
Michael Green, but then Michael Roach came to me and said, Codfish, said, being successful because I wasn't prepared for it or anything. But it's just a matter of educating yourself about that because there was an opportunity for students to go to university overseas.
Yes. And I think he might have been one of the trend setters because a lot of persons never got that advantage through football in those days.
True.
So that is admirable. And now that you mention it, you said you're an average student, and I hope you are comfortable with your achievements, because ever so often, having gone through the things we have gone through, we get to a point and, we say, as Jamaicans say, if me did know, always come after.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have read your achievements, and I must say, hats off to you, sir.
Thank you.
But now I want to hear about Codfish.
All right, before I go into delve into Codfish, one of the achievements, and I just need to hear your opinion on it. I was selected I was invited to the national program on more than one occasion. And I went, was like about 30 or 25 guys got called, and it scaled on to about 18. And it was the Norway game. And honestly, most of these things that I'm saying to you, sometimes the dates is going to be off, so don't ask me the date. But I was selected on the national team, and Norway came. I was on the bench during that game, and I didn't go on the field of play. And people say I'm a national. I don't want to call myself national. I was invited to the program, but I wasn't on the field of play. I wasn't a cap. I did not go on the field of play. So should I consider myself a national?
Look here. I consider it an honor just to be invited. Look here. You may not have even kicked a ball during any of those matches, but the fact that you were invited to the national team, Garnet, I think, be proud. Be proud, because we have seen many footballers who we consider good in their own rights. And we wonder, how is it the national team has not seen these persons? So having gotten an invite, kudos. Okay, and I'm dying to hear about Codfish.
No, I need to continue on that. The game was going on, and my position was a marker. Duran Brown.
That's the Norway game you're talking about.
Right. Duran Brown was a sweeper.
Okay.
And then you have two stopper in front of him. Like there was Linval Dixon and there was Donald Stewart. So Linval Dixon got hurt. So Renee Small said, Denton, warm. I'm stand up and I'm get up. I'm a warm. And then Linval Dixon got up and said, hey coach, I want to go back on. And I'm warm until the game finished, and I'm never really go from it.
I can imagine your disappointment.
Yes.
I am listening to you, and I put myself in that position, getting warm up, all excited.
Dan, I called my brother. I know he was in Florida. I said, Denny, check out ESPN, because ESPN might carry the game, And I was disappointed because I really wanted to go on the field of play.
Yes.
But I didn't get a chance to do it. But the important thing is that I wanted to wear the national colors, and I did. It's a good feeling when time the bus drive up in the national stadium, and the 35,000, and it's a good feeling.
It is a good feeling. It is. So even though you would have been disappointed, and I know your brother would have been glued to ESPN wanting to see his little brother, consider it a blessing to have been invited. Even to be called to say, okay, warm up, you're next. Mm-hmm. That in and of itself.
You know what I wanted to do, Don?
What?
I said to myself that if I had gotten on the team, normally, my name would have been in the back. Mm-hmm. And I'd have given my shirt after just giving my shirt. And I said, Denny, this is yours.
Yes, because as you mentioned earlier, and as you said to me in our previous conversation, he's your mentor.
Yeah.
Yes, so I understand it's only fair. And I remember when I asked what year, you said what year you were on the national team, you said, boy, you can't remember much, you can't remember the date, but you remember it was when Pele Wilson scored that
goal. And it's like right here before me. Paul Tigot Davis was on his field. Paul Tigot Davis went through, hit the keeper rebound, the keeper hit to save it, and Pele Wilson just run on. And the thing is this, Pele Wilson just come out of Charlie Smith. He was a schoolboy, and trust me, the place erupted.
Yes.
So that was
and for little Jamaica to be scoring against Norway. Look here, man. I remember those days, you know, Jamaica was,
yeah.
So, yeah, you can pat yourself on the shoulder. Don't let anybody take that away from you. You are a national player. Okay, so I am still coming back to it, Garnet. Codfish. Where did that name come from and how? At what stage in your life you got that name?
Maybe about 13, 12, I was in Farm Heights and I used to play ball down by the dirt field. And I remember we used to play in the evening. There was this guy, Wong, Cleve, Eastern Bard, and this other guy, Wesley Street. Me used to dribble. I love to dribble. And it's like, oh, you know, he saw me dribbling and he said, hey, I move like some codfish, so, you know, just, you know.
Yeah. I get you now.
Right. So the name stuck. And back in the days, you know, if you're given a name, an alias, don't act as if you don't want it, because once you act as if you don't want it, they're gonna pin it on you. So
pin it on you.
Yeah.
So you embraced the name Codfish to the point you're an adult now and people still know you as Codfish.
Yes, that's my alias, and I embrace it.
Because Black Talent Productions is tuned in, and all you hear is big up Codfish. All you see is big up Codfish. So
that's my nephew, Jason Robin.
Oh, that's your nephew.
Yes, Jason.
Okay, and we have Fallis Williams. That's our very own Russian here.
Yes, big up Fallis. Get well soon.
Yes, and I think he remembers you Codfish. Money Mackenzie Hale.
Yep.
Codfish, big up. Donna Robinson. You're quite a popular one here.
Family and friends, you know, the family.
Family and friends. Nice.
Family.
There's Sean Pierre.
Yeah.
Logging in. Elder Mac Fitness Corner.
Yep.
All of these persons.
Good.
Okay. So I remember you said something about life after football. When you got to that point, you would have finished William Nibb. What happened? Where did you see yourself going? What was there for you to launch into?
All right. Whilst going to after William Nibb, I was playing for Arnett's. That's a Division 2.
That's Arnett Gardens?
That's Arnett Gardens. Arnett's FC from Montego Bay.
Okay.
Mr. Lou was a manager. Bella was a coach. So whilst going to William Nibb, Arnett's, Mr. Lou approached me and said, all right, hey, come play for Arnett's. I went and I played for Arnett's. And whilst at Arnett's, Mr. Lou tell me, say, hey, Codfish, more, you come play for the team and play there and play for a couple of years. And I started off at Division 2. And after William Nibb, his sister was the managing director or the general manager for Seawind Beach Resort. And it was an opportunity. I was 19 at the time. And it's a Codfish. I know, I would love for you to come and work for my sister. And eventually I got a job there, food and beverage cashier. So I took it whilst playing football again. And again, Hotel League was one of the biggest things during that time.
What league?
The Hotel League. Hotel
League, okay.
Hotel. So you have a lot of hotels would get players to come and represent their hotel. And I went to Seawind. I worked there, was gainfully employed, and whilst plying my trade as a soccer player. But my thing was to go international, because whilst at Seawind, there was this guest that came and saw me playing football and said, hey, why don't you apply, to some of those clubs in England? Because he's from England. He said he gave me the address. I wrote about 20 letters. And only Gillingham United reply and said, hey, we're financially embarrassed now, so hopefully another time. And I was 19, I was like right there.
Mm-hmm.
I was at Sealing for a while, for 5 years.
But I'm seeing here where you would have played for YMCA, Hornets, Violet Kickers, Black Stars. We'll get to the Police National later. Wadada, Invaders, Cornwall County Lions. You seem to have a repertoire of clubs that you would have been a part of.
Right. I started off.
At what point did you find time to be involved with all of these clubs?
All right. The YMCA was the first club at a tender age. Mr. Clive Walters, he was there, and there was a club for boys after school, and I went there, played table tennis and other games, and I left there and I went to Arnott's, and after Arnott's I went to Condors. That was the National Premier League, our first National Premier League team. I went there, and I don't recall the coach that was there because I was even saying to Follies recently, say I don't recall the coach that was at Condors, but I know it was like a breakaway team from Wadada Seba. You have not a lot of good players that played for Condors. And this was whilst at Seaven, left Condors, and Violet Kickers was training at Seaven. Because you was the opportunity to go to Violet Kickers. And as I leave work, Violet Kickers was right there on the field. And that was where my thing began, where I won 2 National Premier League championships.
2 National Premier League championships.
Yes.
See, I mean, the blessing comes in different forms. So you might have been expecting it one way, and it came another way. And here is Mr. Dunkley agreeing with me. He says, Mr. Garnet Denton, welcome to this platform. To wear the Jamaican national colors for soccer is huge. Proud of you, my brother. So you see, and Jackie Green Denton, Garth, looking and sounding good. Proud of you, my love.
That's my wife.
Oh, I was going to say, it's either your wife or your sister.
That's my wife. Oh, she's Inspector Green Denton. Big up yourself, Jackie, and Port St. James, and your hardworking workers. That's my wife. Jackie
Inspector Green Denton.
That is correct. At Port St. James.
Okay.
Most of my policing, I got it from her. She is like.
Okay, because we're getting to that, But since you bring out the policing and your wife is a member of the force.
Correct.
So tell us now, because you also played for the police, played football for the police club. Tell us about this great football player. I try not to use the word soccer because we know it's football because we play it with our foot. So this great football player going into the police force, you come from Farm Heights, all of the man them about Montego Bay, know you and all of that. What prompted you and what was it like?
All right. It makes my policing easier.
Okay.
Trust me. Because as a police officer within our community, them recognize me. I'm able to mediate right there. Because
awesome.
I was stationed in St. Anne. That is Area 2. Area 2 comprised of Portland, St. Anne, and Portland, St. Anne, and St. Mary. And whilst doing my patrolling or my policing, I used to play for Black Stars. And Black Stars is in St. Anne.
Stick up in. Would this have been after you were with Violet Kickers?
Yes.
Oh, yes. So yes.
Yes.
Okay.
As I say, most of the guys recognize me and say, hey, ball, I want, and not officer, but they know that I'm a football player. So it is easy for me to relate to them. So
yes.
That's a plus on my side right there.
Yes. So it was you doing community policing right there. And I guess it made it easier for them to talk to you.
Community policing, that is best, because trust me, it's easy for them to talk to me, and it's easy for me to talk to them. Both
Yes.
youth, adults, everybody.
Awesome, awesome, because there was some amount of common ground there. But what was life like as a police officer whilst you were in the force too?
All right. You know, there's good and there's bad, and I just want to say that you have some wonderful police officers out there, some hard-working police officers out there, and the few that just, you know, put that distasteful taste in their mouth when it comes down to certain things, it just make a bad, you know. I'm a testament to that. I was a good police officer, and for me to be a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, it's a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of discipline, and you get to meet a lot of people. And you see right now when you see police officers pushing a cart with somebody stuff in it and giving some assistance and helping a lady cross the street, and it has been recorded and it go viral. This was happening long time ago, but it's just that there wasn't any camera, picking that up, you know. So for me, I try to do things, and as I said, I don't expect anything in return. And once I'm in my uniform, I try to assist. And the police is to serve, protect, and to reassure. And that's exactly what I do, you know. And I just want to say, I said it already, and I'm going to say it again. Most of my policing, most of my laws and police procedures, Inspector Green Denton, she had a lot to do with it because she was my instructor at trading school.
Okay. So it wasn't a case where you met her before you went into the force. You decided to join the police. By the way, what prompted you to want to be a police officer?
All right, my father was a police officer as well. Ainsley, the late Ainsley Barrington Denton, and wanted to follow in his footsteps as well. And while playing football, there was this guy from Montego Bay. He's a police officer now. Officer Wright, you Wright, he's in Negril. Parrot, big up yourself anyway there.
Parrot.
You know, Parrot came to me and said, yo, Codfish. He went and he did the test, passed, he became a police. You know, I said, Codfish, come in, man. And I decided to go, did the test, pass it, and I went to the academy, Echo Village. Big up Echo Village batch of 1999. Anyway, so she was an instructor there.
Now, did she make your life more miserable than anybody else because she maybe liked you or you liked her or something like that? Or did she make it easier on you?
Where? In training?
While you were in training? No.
Listen, one of the things that I learned, right? You got to stick to people who can assist you. I mean,
that's a good comment.
Any law question or any police questions or whatever, because there's this thing they call the pressure. You got to learn the pressure. You got to get 324 and 2 eyes right. Pass mark is 24. You got to get 3 of that. And then 2 eyes right is when you're marching. You got to do eyes right in slow march and eyes right in quick march.
Quick march.
So, you know, I stick to her, and anything that I want to find out, I mean, I was a professional. I went to her, got a shoot bend, and I asked her, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And she guided me in the right direction.
Okay.
You know.
So don't tell anybody, Mr. Denton, just between you and I.
Between you and I, no matter.
Just between you and I. At what point did you tell her that you like her?
It was really after training, because I kept it professional, in a professional manner.
Awesome.
No one knew. No one knew.
Awesome. And now,
go ahead.
I love the fact that you speak about yourself as protecting and serve. And I am glad I have gotten this opportunity to interview you, and for the 21 persons now signed in on Facebook, not Facebook, on YouTube, and the other persons who will later watch this interview. Because over time, we have had so many negatives when it comes on to police officers that we tend to paint everybody with the same brush, not realizing that people we know, people we are connected with in one way or another, have worn the uniform, and not all police officers project a negative image. So I thank you for this opportunity where we can actually discuss this. And big up again to your wife, who I will say, Inspector Jackie Green Denton, who have made you who you are. Okay. Okay, just to take some comments here. Leon Denton, enough respect.
That's my brother. That's my brother. Leon, big up Debo.
Leon, okay. Leon, he has been talking so much about you. I don't know if you were here earlier.
No, that's my small brother. That's one of my brothers. Hey, listen, Don, I have like 6 brothers.
6 brothers.
3 sisters. And I want to just say.
And how many sisters?
3 sisters. My brothers, God rest his soul. Bill, Michael Robbins was my eldest brother. He passed. And then you have Denny, Orville Denton. He's my.
Oh, he's the one. He's your mentor, Orville. I remember.
Right. And then you have Andrew Denton. Then I have a brother that is in the U.S. Army. He's a colonel. He's Colonel Mark Denton. And you have Duran Smith, Leon Denton, Duran Smith and Leon. That's a 6. And then my sisters, you have Marie Denton, and then you have Donna Destiny Denton, and then you have Avril Loy Walters. Big up to all of my siblings. Enough love.
Big family. I can imagine when you all meet.
Yes. And big up to my mom, Pauline Robinson, wherever you are.
Hello, Miss Robinson. I hope you're in tune. Okay, Omar Robinson.
That's my cousin, Spotter. That's one
yes,
of the
he's giving you some information here. He's telling you the exact date.
All right.
November 26, 1995.
Beautiful.
Jamaica versus Norway.
All right. You see, Omar is one of those guys that I can turn to at any point in time for some stats. Kevin Keegan Simpson is one of those guys as well. Warren Barrett. These guys know the date, the time, and who score. And trust me, kudos to these guys.
Yes.
Enough respect.
You say football runs through these people's veins.
Yes, man. If I call Omar and ask him, what time Pelly Whistle scored that goal in Kentel. So it's a good thing.
Okay. And I think Mr. Desmond Dunkley here, he is sharing a sentiment. He's sharing a sentiment that I have thought about since we have started talking. In a time when Black men have had some seriously bad reputation, it is a joy to celebrate one of our own who is a role model. Bless up yourself, my brother.
Thanks. Thank you.
And you're Dapo D. You didn't tell us about that name.
Dapo D.
Yes. Leon Denton is saying big up Dapo D.
Yeah, man. He's Denton, so I call him Debo. He's
okay.
Married to brother and Debo. And all the Dentons, they call him Dapo.
Okay. So a lot of persons who would have joined the Jamaica Constabulary Force would have stayed there and, wait on the pension. But for one reason or another, you decided to seek other pastures. Let me not use the word greener pastures, because it's not always necessarily greener. Other pastures. Tell us about your transition from the Jamaica Constabulary Force to the novel security supervisor that you are, who see the need to just do the job and help people without expecting anything in return.
It all started from the Jamaica Constabulary Force, because I went there and I learned all that I need to learn. So it's like a walk in the park now here. You know, the transition, it wasn't easy for more reasons than one. But you know, the JCF prepared me to be the security supervisor that I am today. And I just want to big up all the officers on the trial contract, you know. But the JCF, I want to give thanks to the JCF for me being the person that I am today as well.
Yes. Okay. And your transition?
The transition it's all right because I get to do basically the same thing. And for where the JCF is concerned, you can retire from your age, whether your age or your years of service. And I was nowhere near there. So I made it the transition to come here, and it has been good so far.
Okay.
But every transition, you know, have their challenges.
So having been a police officer, let me ask you 2 questions related to that, and then we move over to your security job here. What has been your most memorable, positively memorable moment or experience as a police officer in Jamaica? And what might have been your most negative?
One of the most memorable moments, I would say, I was stationed at Also Spring Police Station. And whilst on my patrol, I went to Also Spring Primary School, and I met with the principal there. And I realized that the student just start come close to the Jeep, you know? So I parked the Jeep. I saw where there was a football. I took the football and I went in on the field area. And within no time, you have like 80, 90 students around me, just wanting to see what I can do. And trust me, that was good. And Miss Pingy, she's the principal. She was a principal for that school. And you know, she wanted me to come back more and more and more and more. So for me to give back to the students and, you know, talk to them, I go to the classes. I go back and I go to the classes and I try to give them a little insight of what it's all about. And one of the things, I try not to wear my weapon, because whilst in the class, if they're asking questions, 8 out of 10 questions is going to be about
the gun.
Right. So I try not to wear it. And I mean, it's advise the officers when they're going to these events, you know, try not to wear it. But
I love that. So I guess the kids came around you because they would have recognized who you are as a footballer.
Not really.
Oh, I guess, okay. So it's the uniform then.
Right.
But I love the fact that you through that little incident, you were able to make a positive impact on some children.
Yes. And the thing is this, you know, I'm there in the uniform and I got about 10 guys because I'm good on the head. I can like do about 150 on my head. So I got 10 guys and I said, hey guys, listen, we're gonna do this. And you know, juggle, and they went about 50 or 40 or whatever. And they surrounded me and I went and I did and surpassed theirs. So they were like excited, and you know, so I'm saying that police officers, they have a lot to play as it relates to, you know, the youth in society. But
awesome,
they're not like what it used to be. I mean, society, they don't respect police officers nowadays. And you know, the funniest thing about it, Don, when something should happen to these people on the road, the first person they want to turn to is the police. If they're in a motor vehicle accident, they want to call the police. If there's a sudden death at their home, the police have to be involved. And you know, the funniest thing, when they're on the road and they're doing their thing with and catching up, and you know, shortly after they want a recommendation, they're gonna come to the same police to say, hey, I want a recommendation.
True.
And can recommend me for whatever, whatever. You know, so they're not realizing that, hey, these things, you know, we're seeing these things. And when you don't give it to them now, it's like, oh, they might fight against me and they might fight against them.
You are so right there, Garnet. You know, when I taught at Rosis, it's one of the things I would always encourage my students. Don't wait until you leave school, you get to know a police officer or a pastor or a JP. Whilst you're there, no. Start passing and calling to these people.
Yep.
And guess what? Somebody's going to say, what a manageable little boy.
Mm-hmm.
And then very soon you realize that when you go to ask for that recommendation, but in the same breath, I'm glad you pointed out the fact that police officers also have a role to play, because not every Jamaican will be welcoming, but somebody has to bridge the gap. And if you live within a community as a police officer, the people in your community should know you. I think you should have a relationship with them. So you going there and interacting with those children, I am sure today, how many years later, if you should take those kids and ask them about that day, I bet you there's at least a 60% chance that a lot of them would have remembered it.
They're adults now, Don. They're adults. And I mean, I just need to say something again. You know, these guys in the community, you might identify a youngster that is good at a particular discipline, right? And every time you see him want like a $200 or he want $1,000, and you will give it to him and him come back and you say, all right, you're good at plumbing. Check out art for me now and let me see what kind of courses them have on the plumbing. If it costs $10,000 down, not tell us that I will sacrifice to give that person that $10,000 to go and get a skill to get certified. But every day you go come and do that. Dan, if you pay for it, you know, if you pay for it, if you tell them to go and check it.
It costs you less.
Yeah.
It costs you less. Because they say you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, but if you teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime.
There you go.
And as a conscientious police officer, these are some of the things we need to look into, because we may say some of those youngsters don't want to work. But if we bridge the gap, I come back to bridging the gap and try to understand what motivates them. If we can save one, I've always said it, if we can save one, we would have saved a family.
True. And, you know, no disrespect to the fathers, then the fathers have a lot to play in these guys' life, because I spoke to a probation officer recently, and the probation officer said that a child came to her and said, hey, listen, I don't like when daddy there, and when daddy there, I can't get to do certain things. I like when mommy there because mommy get to go to work. And when mommy gonna work, them can do whatever they want. You know, and I said, fathers, they just need to pay more attention and, you know, pay more role in these guys' life, because sometimes they just want somebody to talk to them, just to show them the path, you know, because some of these guys are very talented. You know, some of these guys, them leave school, them get them subjects, and guess what? Them sit on a roadside. You know, so you just want somebody to lead them. You know?
Push them in the right direction. But it is interesting that child would have said they don't like when daddy's around, because you know what daddy do? Daddy instill discipline.
Yeah, you just give them the look. Once you give them the look, them know so them to stop.
Yes, and because mommy has a time when she goes to work, you know that I can do anything. It's almost free for all.
Exactly.
And I can tell you, you know, because I would say we have a shared profession, because being a teacher and you being a police officer, a lot of people think that children hate discipline. Children know good. And they know what is good for them and what is right for them and what is bad for them. But guess what? As scripture says, foolishness abideth in the heart of a child. So they will want to do the easy things that will get them out there so they can be popular with their friends.
Right.
So I am glad you mentioned the presence of fathers. And a lot of fathers seem to believe that I need to have money to be around my child. Well, some of the mothers make it appear like that, yes. But fathers need to know that quality time, no money can take the place of quality time with your child. It's not about the expensive gadgets and all of that. It's about quality time. Here I am rambling on. You realize you and I can talk all night about this.
Yep.
But moving on. So you have shared your most positive memory. Don't give us all the details. Just give us an idea of something that you would have been so upset about as a police officer.
There was this incident where, listen, there's good police and there's bad police, and sometimes you're not going to know. There was this incident where this officer was the face of the JCF, and he was caught, selling a firearm to somebody else. And
you were in the force at that time?
Yes, and Don, I was on a special team. Honestly, me say when I touch the road, Don, it's like my head hold down.
Yeah.
Because it's like they might put everybody under the same umbrella.
Yes, and Jamaica loved that man.
Exactly. Everybody's going to be under the same umbrella, and I was so upset and I was so ashamed of it. So you have good police and you have bad police. So we don't want to put everybody under the same umbrella.
Yes, I'm glad you say that, because we have a tendency as Jamaicans, as I said before, to put everybody under the same umbrella.
That's not right.
And we also need to realize that before you're a police officer, before that man out there is a police officer, he is a human being. And we all have our flaws. We all have that thing about us. Because if we were corrupt before we joined the force, when we go in the force, we're still going to be corrupt. And that's what people need to understand. So you can't just take that individual and judge the entire police force. But I remember that incident.
Yep.
I felt it because we really loved that man. So it was really sad news when it came out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you were not the police at the time. You were not the police, as a matter of fact. So
no, just a regular citizen. So I can imagine how you would have felt.
Exactly.
Going out there and everybody now looking at you as being just as guilty.
Yep, true.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I feel as if I have known you all this time just by this conversation we've been having. So now you're a security supervisor with Allied Universal.
G4S/Allied Universal. G4S/.
Oh, G4S. Okay. And I remember you shared, is that the same company you were working with when you met Nurse Hilton, when you did the good deed for her?
Right.
Okay. So let me ask the question. If there is a bit of advice that you would give a teenager who is thinking about the police force at this point, what advice would you give?
All right, the first advice is just stick with people that, are not of questionable character, because, it's mere son, no so just come from jail. And lo and behold, you're with him under the mango tree every day, because there's this thing they call it antecedent. If you apply to go in the force, they're gonna do the investigation. They're gonna come in the community, maybe have a little small picture of you and ask Miss Mary over there, so a 85-year-old, what do you think about this youngster? So you have to really stick to people who can assist you. You have to pave the way. You have to make yourself marketable. and the force, I just want to expound on this, the force, if you're a mechanic, there is a TNR division where you can go to fix the vehicle. There's the IT division, there's a CID division, there is the traffic division, as I said earlier. So, depends on your discipline. There's place in the JCF where you can play a trade as a police.
Okay. I am thankful for that information, because that part about mechanic and IT department, personally, there may be person out there who would have known, but personally, I was unaware of this.
So the police is not just the police, we have drone now that can do our little surveillance thing, so we are going high tech, thanks to the new commissioner, he's transforming the force, and that is a plus, because gone are the days, no disrespect to the long-time police, when they talk about, getting an email address and them talk about them and they give them home addresses. No, so we are transitioning from that, policing to policing that, 21st century.
Yes. Because if the criminals are going high tech, why shouldn't the force go high tech too?
Yeah, one step ahead of them.
And I love that bit of advice that you would have given. And I would want to implore all 27 persons who are logged in and viewing this, and those who will watch it later, tell your friends, tell your children, tell your friends' children, tell your cousins, tell your nieces and nephews what Garnet just said, what Mr. Denton just said. Old time people say you're guilty by association. Show me your friends and I tell you who you are.
Okay.
You don't know where life is going to take you, so you cannot afford to be aligning yourself with people of questionable character just for cheap popularity that will bring you down one path. But
Don, funniest thing about it, that guy might be innocent, trust me, he might be innocent. In the car, and a weapon is found in the car, they're going to take everybody into custody, take them to court. If they are in the car and drugs is found in the car, they're going to take everybody that's in the car. And maybe you're just going for the joyride, nothing else but the joyride, and you're caught. Yeah.
Conscious advice. Hence, guilty by association. Sometimes you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people.
With the wrong people, yes.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So, guys, we persons out there viewing this is solid advice. And as your wife is saying something here. Hello, Dawn. Just want you to know that Garth did not only touch the lives of those children, but of their parents and siblings. He fed some, schooled some, and helped others to fish. Oh my God.
Yeah. But Dawn,
if I was close by, I would show you I'm getting goose pimples here, because this is real policing.
Yeah, Dawn, and sometimes you do these things, as I said before, you don't do it for any accolades, Dawn. You just do it because it's the right thing to do. And Dawn, you see, back in my days at William Nibb, you have some students that were coming to school that were less fortunate. The mother have to sell one cow or sell one herd of cattle or one goat or one pig or whatever, just to pay for two CXC subjects.
CXC, yes.
Those days. And trust me, it is hard out there. And sometimes you want to do things for these guys, and they just need the assistance. Most of these guys just need the assistance.
Yes.
So,
yes.
It has been happening, but I bet we don't do things and broadcast it.
And broadcast it, because as was it Chronics who said, we do it for the love, we not do it for the likes. Yes, you do it out of the love in your heart, not for persons to like you.
And Don, Inspector Green Denton, the same thing is like, we're like, the same thing. She share the same sentiments.
Awesome. I guess that's what make you a power couple.
There you go. Jackie, big up yourself.
Okay. Patrick and Avril Walters, Garth, you are a true blessing, and we are so proud of you. Sonia Briscoe, LT Denton. Tell me about the LT.
That's lieutenant. I'm a lieutenant.
Yeah.
There's a lieutenant, there's a captain, and there's the major. So I'm the lieutenant on the project. I'm a lieutenant on the project.
Oh, where the company you're now employed to?
Correct. And she's a CPO. She's a Jamaican ex-police as well. So Sonia, big up yourself.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I just want to, you said Alfred Walters said something just now. Patrick Walters is there as well. And
yes, he's there too.
Give him some promo right here, you know, for the best. If you want, he's with Keller Williams Realty. He's a realtor anywhere in Atlanta or Georgia. If you want the house to be sold, if you want the house to buy, just check Patrick Walters.
Okay, we went charge. We went charge, you know. You just got some, Avril and Patrick, you just got some free advertisement.
Yes.
Okay, and Micheline, is it Micheline Dawes?
Right, she's with the company as well. Dawes. She's supposed to be at work now.
I wonder if we're related.
It is possible I can get her information. And these ladies are also ex police officers.
They're former members of JCF too?
Right. For you to be on this contract, you gotta be an ex-military or ex-law enforcement. And you know, Dawes and Sonia, big up on yourself. I mean, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you guys for tuning in. I can tell you, Garnet Codfish Denton. It's now 16 minutes after 9. I can tell you, I could spend another hour talking to you because I just love the inspiration that you are. Because I came here to speak to somebody about a little football and being a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, but there is so much more to you than that. And I go back to your quote, there's a feel-good feeling in helping others. And I think there are more of us who should aspire to get that feel-good feeling.
Yeah, so Dan, let me ask, you never feel a feeling like it?
Of course.
Okay.
You know, I went on to Facebook today. Somebody linked me. They have something about which English teacher in high school had the most impact on your life. And this boy, well, one girl said, Miss Dawes, but this boy said, she never taught me English, but while I was a cadet, she allowed me to be a better person. And I can tell you, while I was in charge of cadet at Brosis High, you see all of those cadets, even though we have this relationship, and it just warms my heart.
Yeah.
I think that feel-good feeling you're talking about is that mellowness you get right in here. When persons, because of your input, these persons are able to make themselves better. They can be so much more than they would have been had it not been for your input.
True. I mean, we all can play a part, Dan. We all can play a part. And it's not hard. Trust me, it's not hard. And my grandmother always said, listen, if you have one instrument, we can share. It doesn't matter how small it is, it can share in half. So, we can do better. We can do better.
Yes, we can. And Mr. Denton, we are no longer strangers. So because of this, I have your number. Every now and again, I will send a shout out, hail up Denton, and William Nibb family, past student family, G4S /
Allied
Universal. And there's also Jackie Green Denton. Thank you guys for loaning him to Brosis Brosis tonight. He has shed a whole lot of light on so many things. And I'm sure each person who has tuned in can walk away from this conversation with something and with the desire to be a better person. Yes, sir.
All right. Listen, on the I think it's on the 29th, you guys are gonna have your function.
Black, blue and white event.
Okay. Dale from People's Choice is doing an all white on that same night. And funny enough, we have the William D. Cup alumni, Kevin Keegan Simpson, we were talking about, we had our date planned for the 30th because there's a Trelawney Day and there's not going to be any Trelawney Day because of the pandemic. So we put our function for the 30th and Dale function is going to be on the 29th. as your function. So what we're going to do, we're going to probably support Dale Prendergast, and probably come and support the Rossies as well. Just to let everyone know that the CDC guideline is still in force, the pandemic is still on. So we're going to do the barbecue. It's like our theme is like wear your jersey. It doesn't matter what kind of jersey. It could be a basketball, soccer, hockey, what kind of jersey, but just wear your jersey. And just want to give a shout out to some guys. I think I have something here. Smurf Food Hut, a restaurant in Boston. They're good. He has been supporting us from the inception. I have I think Corey's restaurant, Top Taste restaurant. Just a call and they're like, hey, Codfish, just let me know when. And there's also another person, Lickmore Jerk, Father Kim. He's like I think he's in Brooklyn. He has a restaurant, and he has been supporting us from the inception. So big up to these guys, and they are local guys. They're guys from Trelawney. So if you're in this area, you need to support these guys. So
okay, so I am inviting the William Nibb cohort there to lend some support to us, and I'll also invite my fellow Brosis members to lend some support. You see, one hand washes the other. So it's good that we can call on you and you don't hesitate. You can be a part of this empowerment thing that we're doing. And I think that we can forge a relationship moving forward. So as you have your function on the 29th, and we have our function or Blue and White Fete on the 29th too, let's see how we can work together. One of the things that we also want to do, in addition to the fete, is that we have a sponsorship for tablets, because with the pandemic on, students are somewhat being handicapped because they don't have the devices to have classes. So, I won't feel any way, and I'm sure our president, Mr. Malcolm, won't feel any way if the William Nibb guys who decide to come and give us some support walk with two tablets and things like those. It would be all for a worthy cause.
But Don, the funniest thing about it, I just recently, Cornwall College at their fish fry, they drive up fish fry, and I purchased some tickets from them, and I won a 55-inch TV, but that's not the point. Nice. I spoke to the president, which is Philip Wallace, and I said, hey, Philip, this alumni thing can be very successful, because you have a lot of high school, alumni in the tri-state area. So once you're doing it and it's promoted, the support can be there. Because even recently, I think, what was it? It was Edwin Allen, Gregory Messam, and some other guys were doing their stuff, and we realized that we couldn't go, so we purchased 2 tickets. So we just need to support each other. And,
yes, because it's all going back one place to help the children back home. So there's power in numbers. And thank you for that. And thank you for being that beacon of hope. I can tell you, you have given me hope. So let me ask a final question. You have children?
I have a lot of children that I've fathered.
Do you have biological children?
A lot of children that I've fathered.
Okay, because I was about to say, I am sure you have 1 or 2 who would have captured the essence of who you are. Because we need more persons like you around, Mr. Denton. We honestly
they're there enough. They're there.
Yes. But it's just that maybe some of them are not highlighted enough, because too often we major in the minor as a people.
True. True.
Okay, guys, it has been a wonderful hour and any final words before we part?
It was a pleasure being on this platform to just share my story, and just to say, I like what Brosis are doing. Rossies, it's a wonderful thing, and just to let you know, there's a lot of stories out there, So keep up the good work and just to, to bring out some stories that, guys have and they don't want to come out with it. So last week I listened to Elder Map and it was very refreshing, and he spoke about a particular match in Jared Park where he had a confrontation with Alton Noah Sterling. And, it was physical. So I'm dying for Alton Noah Sterling to come on this program and give us his version of it. So, it's a pleasure being on your program.
Thank you. And Patrick and Avril says, thanks, bro. Yeah. Destiny Den says, good job. Sonia says, big up, my favorite supervisor. I can see that you are loved.
One more, Destiny Denton, anywhere in Boston. If you want to, she does wedding and she does baby showers. So anything you want, just reach out to Destiny Denton. She's the lady to reach out to.
This man will seize every opportunity to advertise. Okay, yeah. I don't know why you're not in public relations.
She's a wedding planner, man, and trust me, if you see her stuff, trust me. Anywhere in Boston, Mattapan, big up the Boston family members.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Connell, who says this is the meaning of empowerment. I can tell you, I thank you, Codfish, for having agreed to do this program. And I can feel the empowerment. You have shown us that success is not about what you achieve, but what you're able to give back. Because you have given back so much as an individual. And if you don't hear the word thanks often enough, I am going to tell you thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks for giving back to the children of Jamaica. Thanks for giving back to the persons you interact with. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that tonight has made an impact on you. And I hope that moving forward from this program, we will try to make a difference in our little corner. We will try to give without the hope of receiving and endeavor to be a blessing to somebody. This has been another empowerment night with Receives Brosis, your host, Dawn Dawes. See you next time. Good night.